Yo, what is up, everybody on YouTube? My name is Neriku, and we're back at it again for a somewhat different video today. Today, we're going to be counting down my top and most anticipated PC games for Q1 2017. The games that I'm absolutely most excited for, most ready for, and most ready to play. And we're going to go right into it today. All right, so first off, we're gonna get pretty excited for For Honor here. That's a game that's developed by Ubisoft, and I don't want to get too hyped for it because we all know how Ubisoft does with their games. It did release today, and I am so ready to play it. But at the same time, I do have a little bit of concerns, including the combat. I've seen some people play it. I've seen the combat structure. It might just be a little bit too difficult to make the game play more fluid, and that might end up being an issue in the long run as far as like playability and usability with the game. But it's not really a super big concern because the trailers look absolutely amazing. They look gritty. They look just awesome. Like they look like the action is just never going to stop. So I really hope that that the gameplay does reflect that. I hope that it does live up to all the hype that it's been receiving lately. There's been a lot of people playing the betas. There's been a lot of people, going in there and playing the game, and they've had some positive feedback. But at the same time, though, I'm hoping that Ubisoft gets it together. Hopefully, it's not full of bugs. Hopefully, it's not broken. Hopefully, we don't have any server issues. And one of the biggest things I'm concerned about with this type of game is balancing. So I hope that they have a strong balance between the knights, the Vikings, and the samurai. All right, the next game that we have on the list here is going to be Sniper Elite 4. This is developed by Rebellion Development and is also set for release today. So that game you guys can go ahead and grab right now. Links in the description below where you guys can get it for a little bit cheaper. It is a stealth-based shooter that takes place during World War II. You're going to be behind enemy lines in Italy, I believe. And it just seems like an all-around, like, just good game that's going to have a good story, but it may not have all the multiplayer elements that we're used to in our first-person shooters, which is it's okay. It just the shooting genre in general is just one of my favorite genres of games to play, and I hope that this game does bring a unique style back to that genre that we so desperately need, but it also at the same time can still bring back some characteristics from other games, such as just dynamic sniping, kills, and things like that from like Metal Gear that we end up liking a lot. So hopefully those stealth kills and things like that will end up being very, very fun. Next up, there's Night in the Woods. Now, I'm pretty excited about this game, and I typically don't get really excited about indie games, typically because they're a little bit quirky and they might be a little weird. But this one seems like it might be a little fun. You take the role of I believe, of a cat in this one, and you're in a world that's ran by animals who have human characteristics. It is a platforming game, from what it appears to be in the trailer. I don't really know much about this game, but just judging by the art style and just the general weirdness of the game, it seems like something I would really get into. When I look at the gameplay, it does remind me a lot of Adventure Time, even though I know Adventure Time is not like this, but that's like the one thing it reminds me of indefinitely. So I'm hoping that that they get it right and that it's a game that will give me hours and hours of fun. All right, next up we have Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now, this is going to be very similar to what we saw in Sniper Elite 4 in the sense that it does have cooperative for the campaign mode, but this is going to be more of an open world, kind of more of a Watch Dogs type of gameplay. That features seamless co-op, drop in and drop out, kind of like what we saw in the Division, which troubles me a little bit in the sense that the Division had a really large install base for the first few months, and then after a while it began to drop off. So I'm not really sure, even though the game does look really, really fun, unless you have a team of people already set up before you start playing the game to continually and religiously play the game with you, if it's going to be worth the full retail price. Now, the idea of assembling that team and going to go tackle a mission from any angle does seem extremely fun, and I am definitely excited about that. But we got to be very careful here in the sense that we want to make sure that the install base is high and that it does that the same Steam that the game had back in E3 and when they showed the previews for the game, that same steam for the game and the same excitement for the game does continue after the game's launch. But if it's a bad game, it's a bad game. All right, and another game is going to be Routine. And this is also a PC release. It's a survival horror game that's very reminiscent of what we saw in Dead Space, or in the Dead Space series rather, and also what we saw in games like Alien Isolation. Now, we are going to get a little bit more of the feel for more of like a mystery and trying to solve like what exactly happened when as an astronaut and what happened on these missions that made things go so wrong. It does feature enemies that I believe are androids or robots, and I don't really think there's going to be a really good way to defend yourself, so you're going to have to rely heavily on hiding and heavily on your craftiness to sneak around these enemies versus trying to take them head on. And that should provide hours and hours of spine chilling and thrillering and just overall just a new scare tactics and a new style when it comes to the survival horror game genre that we don't really get that like we see in games like Resident Evil, where you can kind of tackle it head on and fight your enemies and still kind of put up a fight. But in this game, I don't really think that you're going to be able to have much of a chance against robots and things like that. I haven't seen any weapons or any news about having weapons in this game, and so that does get me just a little bit excited about it. So another game that I'm pretty excited for is The Church in the Darkness. Now, this is going to be an action infiltration game where the story does kind of change a little bit every time you play, or at least the way that the story unfolds a little bit different every time you do play it. It is set in the 1970s in South America, and you are to infiltrate a religious cult to try to go and retrieve a family member. And I think that just the style, the graphic style is very similar to How to Survive, and I did really enjoy that playthrough and that play style. But it should be very, very fun to go through and try to have crafty ways to avoid your enemies or crafty ways to take down your enemies, as well as provide a really intuitive story. What I am concerned about, however, is the repetitive nature of the game. Hopefully it's not more missions where you have to go and retrieve items and bring them to people. I found that type of gameplay style it does extend the life of a game, but instead it just makes the game so much more boring to play. That's kind of what got me out of How to Survive after a while. It just seemed like after the first 15 hours or so, you're just really doing the same thing over and over again. And I'm hoping that this game doesn't rely heavily on that and has more story-driven elements that really get you excited about the story, really get you excited about the game, and really keep you playing. So, Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. This is going to be very similar to Ghost Recon and also to Sniper Elite in the sense that it is another shooter. I do love shooters. But this one, I think out of all of them, it's going to be probably my favorite. Sniper Elite does have the advantage in the sense that it does take place in World War II. But Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 is going to have the advantage when it comes to being the first Sniper Ghost Warrior game to have a full AAA budget. And this is actually going to be very cool in the sense that you do have a whole slew of technologies, very similar to like what you saw in Watch Dogs, drones and RC cars and being able to drive. All that's at your disposal. What I want them to stay away from is kind of the more Far Cry elements of game types like this, or it's not so open and your mission objectives aren't very clear. I want those to kind of outlined a little bit further and kind of explain their points a little bit more, explain to us why you're doing something, or explain as to what the advantages of finishing this part of the story is. So I'm hoping that they try and make sure they get everything right and don't kind of halfway do a story where they kind of sprinkle some elements of the story into a mission. There could be bonus missions. I'm okay with bonus missions, but don't try to interrupt the flow of the story by giving me bonus missions. Don't Destiny me, is all I'm saying. Don't try to Destiny me and try to fill me in with some stories or fill me in with some missions that don't contribute anything to the story or don't explain anything or as to like why this is so important. So trying to give them some background, try to make sure that the story is fluid, try to make sure everything works, and I will be very, very happy. So the next game that I have on my list for most anticipated games, it's going to be Little Nightmares. Now this is another PC indie game that I'm looking forward to. Because it kind of plays on some of our most darkest fears as children, so like the dark or loud noises or the boogeyman, and kind of personifies those characteristics of what we were afraid of and makes you kind of confront them head on. I am excited about this because judging by the stylized graphics and the way the gameplay, or the way the game plays, it looks like it might be actually really, really fun. It is another platforming game, which is not something that I typically go for, but it is also something that does seem like it would bring hours and hours of fun, regardless of what I quote unquote go for, don't go for, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. If a game looks good, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to do some research, and I think that this might be a winner here. Also, since it is a indie game, it's indie game price, and for $20 I can guarantee that it's worth at least a try. So if you're on PC, you can go and you can purchase it on Steam, give it a try for a couple hours. If you don't like it, go ahead and return it with Steam's return policy. I think that works awesome as an option for you. But if you do like it, I think $20 is a solid price point for pretty much any game like this. So it could end up being a winner. It could be a classic. It can also be like a game of the year type of game where it ends up getting all types of awards, and it's worth it. And absolutely last but not least, we have Outlast 2. So since I've been getting on the YouTube and doing videos and things for you guys, I've been getting more and more into the survival horror genre, playing more scary games, the games I normally wouldn't play. I was a huge fan of the Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5 because it was more action based, but because of the fact that I'm getting on YouTube with you guys and showing you guys some more interesting games that you probably yourself wouldn't play, I'm gonna probably end up doing Outlast 2 for you guys. And Outlast 2 is supposed to be scarier than the first in the sense that it's supposed to be a bigger world. It's gonna be a little bit more creepy. It's gonna play on some things that they did really well in the first one and add to it by making it even more scary. I'm really excited about that, but it's a good thing and a bad thing in the sense that if you guys do want to see me play that, it's gonna absolutely scare the living hell out of me, but also at the same time, it's gonna be worth it because I don't know, I guess I've never really been into scary games too much, but now that I see, and now that I play them and see how it is, I can see the appeal in them. So I'll be probably playing Outlast 2 for you guys. Go ahead and comment below if you guys want to see me play that, because I would love to. Hopefully it's just not too scary. Scary's good, but just not too scary. Okay guys, so that's gonna go ahead and wrap up today's countdown. Let me know if there's any games that you're interested in for Q1 2017 that I haven't mentioned in this list. Let me know which games you're most excited for down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. You guys know what to do if you want to see more videos just like this every single Wednesday. Go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. It's real easy. Also, don't forget about our monthly giveaway. We're going to be giving away 2 games. First game we're going to be giving away is going to be a PC copy of a game of your choice. That's for 1 subscriber. Just let me know what platform you're on. If you're going to be a PC gamer, comment below. Let me know. I need you guys to like a video, subscribe, and also comment to let me know which game you want. And if you're a winner, which will be chosen at random, you will win the game on March 1st. Second game we're giving away, either PlayStation 4, or we can even do a Nintendo Switch game, but Nintendo Switch hasn't been released yet. But we'll go. I'll throw that in there for you guys if you guys end up being Switch owners. I'm not a Nintendo Switch owner. I'm not a Nintendo fanboy, so I won't own a Switch. But if you guys want one, let me know. And we're also doing Xbox One game giveaway. So it's a total of 2 games that we're giving away. Don't get it confused. 1 for you console gamers out there because I love you guys, and 1 for the PC gamers because you guys know what's up. Let me know. Please, you gotta subscribe, like, and comment, and the game will be the winner will be picking at the winner will be chosen at random for whoever wins. Just let me know, guys, and I'll be sure to drop those games off to you. Thanks.